But just remember, in terms of what foods are humans designed to eat, going back a couple episodes, we're not designed, unlike the big cats, unlike the dogs and the hogs and the bears, our bodies, our digestive systems are not as accustomed to digesting protein. We don't have the big livers with all this bile flow. We don't have the super acidic stomach chambers. We don't have the shorter intestinal tracts. So, we're basically more designed to eat like your carbs, your simple sugars. Not your complex sugars like the herbivores, but simple sugars. That's going to be like your fruits and basically some vegetables. And yes, we can digest some level of protein, but basically I think that level is a lot lower than what people normally eat in terms of protein. But if you want to eat that much protein, that's fine, and there's healthy ways you can get it. But just understand, it seems like it's inappropriate. And what I think is happening is when someone is shocked at someone eating low protein, or if you're shocked, it could be attached to how that individual's been eating protein, how much they're craving it. Now, this is the other freaky part about this, is that when you're also dealing with protein, and especially protein that goes undigested, it's difficult for our digestive tract to fully digest protein. So a lot of times it'll be undigested, and it'll move into the gut and just basically spend 24 to 48 hours moving through the gut and putrefying. In other words, decaying or decomposing. And it needs to be broken down by means of bacteria. And so it doesn't really get digested properly, and it basically rots in the intestine. Now, this is also especially true, yes, that can happen with plant protein, but especially with animal protein. So if you got a piece of meat, it's moving through the gut, just know that this is a welcome invitation for harmful organisms and for parasites. And I hate to say this, but especially like your worms of all sizes, microscopic and some that grow several inches long or longer, and they love rotting animal meat. I mean, and different parasites do. And so you could have some individuals out there, and basically they're full of parasites, and the parasites they love the protein, especially the animal protein, and they can influence cravings. And so, yes, it's hard to imagine not eating it if you're basically taken over and getting influenced to eat it. And so that's why it's so important to do the total body cleansing, the parasite cleansing, the gut cleansing, all of it. So, go back to those earlier segments if you haven't done that. But yeah, so I know it's a heavy concept, but I think that's a factor. It was a factor for me because after I cleansed myself out in that way, yeah, my cravings definitely changed. But even after I cleansed myself out with the gut cleanse and the parasite cleansing, I still craved protein. So it's also a mental thing, and it's a bodily thing, and your body's used to it. So, slowly over time, I started to eat less protein. So do we really need protein? How much do we really need? So it's important to understand, okay, how the world works and what's really the truth of what's going on. So you got to understand that protein is not really a main food source for humans. Basically, if you ate nothing but protein, I'm not going to say you would die, but basically you would have no fuel to run your body on. I guess you would have to get it from your own body tissues, breaking them down, maybe the air, breathing in the air, because protein is not a fuel. Protein is first of all, we can't even use protein. The body has zero slot that it can put protein into. the body wants the amino acids in protein. Protein is just simply a structure that's made up of stacked up amino acids. Now, amino acids are great. The body needs amino acids. But when we consume the proteins, we break them down into amino acids through the body. There's a lot of uses for amino acids, structural support. If you're into muscles and building up your body and strength, these are amino acids. So, yes, the body definitely needs amino acids, but also keep in mind, the amino acids are not a fuel source per se. They're not feeding the cells to energize the cells. They're being used for these sort of tertiary or other functions of the body.